It's Monday morning. You're very welcome. You're on to the press on Kaftan Television. Right, we are reaching you live from our studios in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and we are also streaming live. So all you need to do is click on Kaftan TV, click on the live stream, and you have us. You're welcome. Monday mornings. I know once you've gotten past that, you've gotten past the rest of the week. I'm Nikki Atta welcoming you. Let's just do what we usually do on the press. On this program, we'll bring you tidbits about the weather in certain parts of the country. That way you are prepared for whatever contingencies you might run into. After that, we'll take a look at the front pages of some of our dailies. Then we will go into the discussion segment. And after a bit of chit-chat, it will be your turn to let us know what you feel. Let's start right away right now with the weather. Let's look at Eko City, Lagos. Lagos this morning is having very good weather actually. Sunny conditions in Lagos, and the sunny conditions are expected to continue all through the day. Average temperature for Lagos is at 28 degrees Celsius, and the wind gusts average at 14 kilometers per hour. We also have sunny conditions, like I said, continuing all through, and the high temperature for Lagos this morning is 32 degrees Celsius. Averagely very good weather for Lagos, I must say. From Lagos, let's run over further east and see what the weather is like in Enugu. Enugu this morning is boasting of 25 degrees Celsius. It's mostly cloudy in Enugu with a low temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and a high of 34 degrees Celsius. We have partly cloudy conditions expected, and they have set in from around now with wind gusts at 21 kilometers per hour, which means it's going to be a mostly cloudy day in the coast city this morning. Let's go further south in Port Harcourt. Let's see what the weather is like at Port Harcourt this morning. We're talking about 26 degrees Celsius. It's partly cloudy in Port Harcourt this morning. That is not just partly cloudy for itself. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. The thunderstorms are expected around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Very low wind gusts at 9 kilometers per hour, but do not be deceived. Like I told you, expect very heavy rain and thunderstorms in Port Harcourt this afternoon, where the temperature will only rise to a high of 34 degrees Celsius. From Port Harcourt, let's go further north. Let's see what the weather is like in the northern part of the country. Beginning with Kaduna. Kaduna is posting 25 degrees Celsius and it's mostly sunny. Now, the low temperature in Kaduna is 24 degrees Celsius. The high temperature is 36 degrees. Partly cloudy conditions are expected to set in from around 2 o'clock with wind gusts very high today at 19 kilometers per hour. The high temperature today also is very high at 36 degrees Celsius, so it's going to be a warm, hot, sunny day in Kaduna. Well, if you think Kaduna is warm and sunny, you need to look at what the weather is posting in Adamawa State, talking about the capital, Yola. It's as hot as 29 degrees Celsius on average at the moment, up 1 degree from a low of 28. It's going to be mostly cloudy, however, with partly cloudy conditions already setting in. Wind gusts averaging out at 15 kilometers per hour, but beat this, a high temperature today is expected to hit 40 degrees Celsius. If you're in Yola, you either stay indoors or at least you keep out of the sun from noon, because it is going to be scorching, burning hot. All right, on that note, let's look at our final city, which is going to be the Federal Capital Territory, talking about Abuja posting 25 degrees. It's going to be a sunny day, even though partly cloudy conditions will set in from 1 o'clock this afternoon. Wind gusts are average also at 14 kilometers per hour. However, expected to be a hot day in the end when it climbs 10 degrees from 25 degrees Celsius averagely to hit 35 degrees Celsius as the high temperature for this morning. Right, so much for the weather report. Now let's take a deep dive into the newspaper reports. Let's look at the front pages of the newspapers before me this morning. Let me start with the papers that are right in front of me, and I think I'll take Daily Independent this morning. Daily Independent is leading with financial stories. It says here, despite rebound, experts see Nigeria's foreign portfolio tapering off. It says Nigeria needs more stable and more long-term capital. So what Nigeria needs right now is long-term capital, not short-term capital, as we see in a lot of borrowing. Let's see, in other news here, it says, pay TV charges, Nigerians turn to alternative entertainment platforms. I'm disappointed with NAS under Akpabio's leadership, who is saying that Itse Sage, the renowned legal constitutional lawyer, he's saying, I'm disappointed with NAS under Akpabio's leadership. Check out that story in this morning's Daily Independent. We have some other stories here. SERAP asked Central Bank of Nigeria to explain if banks disperse allocations directly to the local governments. That raging news has been ongoing. Direct allocation is not yet happening. It's on page 7 with SERAP saying CBN explain. 78 enslaved Nigerians set free return from Ivory Coast. Good. NDLEA nabs woman with cocaine in her private part and stomach and bag. My goodness. PDP governors raise Saraki-led committee to reconcile aggrieved members before NEC. Say defection forcing governors and others to come together. Right, Defense Minister throws weight behind NAS Security Summit. It's on page 4 of this Daily Independent. Let's run over from the Daily Independent and take a look this morning, this beautiful Monday morning, at This Day newspaper. This Day is talking politics. It's saying here, 2027, Patience Jonathan rules out husband's return to Aso Rock, endorses Tinubu. Here are the writers, says president and wife supported Jonathan in 2011. Insists on power rotation, urges others to step back. See the story on page 5. We have a picture story right beneath it. My goodness, Tinubu hosts political stakeholders from Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. NSA vows prompt prosecution of vandals, oil thieves as PINL meets with stakeholders. Well, we have economic stories at the top of the lead stories on This Day newspapers this morning. We have here Rewane. Nigeria has too many underutilized airports. Too many, and they're underutilized. That's what he's saying about many of our airports in the country. Some other financial stories this morning. We have at the top of the masthead, and like a second banner headline says, Alake, Tinubu's reforms yielded 6.9 billion naira revenue in mining license fees in the quarter one. Processed nearly 1,000 title applications with hundreds of licenses approved. Beautiful. Let's look at the Punch newspapers next. On the front cover of the Punch this morning, it is leading with Rivers emergency rule. Rivers always in the news. In fact, there's a picture of the governor, Sim Fubara, there. Well, okay, from the lead story, it says FG taps ex-AGF 11 sands as Supreme Court battle looms. It's all on page 2. We have the story beside the picture of Fubara. I'm not desperate to return as Rivers governor, Fubara. It's on page 9. He's saying, yes, he would return, but he's not desperate about it. I'm not desperate to return as Rivers governor. Oh my goodness. So will the administrator continue indefinitely? We'll come to find out if you pick up a copy of this morning's Punch and read up the story on page 8. It says here, PDP installs new BOT members as governors map party direction. Federal government makes U-turn, endorses Senate Security Summit. Page 2. We also have 3 picture stories there showing the newly minted Pope, Pope Leo XIV, must have been addressing Catholic faithfuls yesterday, Sunday, in his first Sunday Mass at the Vatican. The place is jammed, bumper to bumper, as we say in Nigeria. There's no leg room. Everybody must have gone to the Vatican to witness the first papal mass of the new Pope. Okay, let's see other stories. NCAA under fire after plane strikes antelope on taxiway. Oh, we escaped from planes and cows and the cattle rearers. Now planes will have to will be battling with antelopes for the runway. My goodness. Okay, some other stories. Federal government states add 57 trillion naira to debt in 18 months. So over the past 18 months, short-term funds to the tune of 57 trillion naira in debt has been added. And you wonder, what is the money being borrowed used for? Oh, let's look at some other stories there. It was a political story which is trending all over, all about Patience Jonathan. We have a picture right there at the top right-hand corner. It says, why Jonathan won't run against Tinubu in 2027. Patience. To find out all the details and the reason on page 7. From there, let's just run over and see what the Daily Times has to offer. The Daily Times says, I will campaign for Tinubu in 2027. Patience Jonathan. That's on page 2. Page 2, Patience Jonathan promising she's campaigning for the Tinubus. We have a picture story there of some PDP governors in the meetings they had over the weekend. Above that, you have Oberewori hails late Edwin Clark as national icon, urges Nigerians to emulate bequeathed legacy. Beneath that, we have some other stories. Crude oil theft. We've sent over 100 pipeline vandals to prison. 2027 Atiku constitutionally fit to run. Ex-spokesman Showumi. West Africa security and political economy. Find out all the details when you turn to page 2 of this morning's Daily Times. From the Daily Times, let's take a quick look at this morning's Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is talking economics. It seems to be trending this morning. Is either Patience Jonathan or economic stories. And I promise you that's going to be the basis of our discussion in the course of the program, when we'll be joined by a guest. In the meantime, let's see, the banner headline goes 2.37 trillion naira data expenses compete with food others as Nigerians ration usage. It's on page 6. So this is a kind of life we're living now. You see the telecoms owners, their pictures there, they're all looking very wealthy while Nigerians are groaning. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see some other stories. NPA debunks multi-billion naira corruption allegation. ASU raises concern over corruption, weak institutions, tasks federal government. Your future presidents, but fight corruption first, Obi tells African youths. Defections, more politics. Wike joins PDP governors meeting in last-ditch effort to save the party. SARAP seeks Central Bank of Nigeria's disclosure on release funds to local government areas and rivers councils. Dame Jonathan endorses Tinubu for 2027 poll. You'll find that trending story all over. It's on news page 4. All right, from the Guardian, let's go over to the Vanguard newspapers this morning. Front cover of the Vanguard, we have here that still economic stories trending on the cover of the Vanguard newspapers this morning is leading with, despite concerns, federal government ramps up domestic borrowing to 10.85 trillion naira. Goodness. Let's look at the riders. Shifts borrowing preferences to TBs amidst high interest rates. How can that be a good thing? Deficit to escalate as oil revenue underperforms. I think we said that right here on this program. If oil revenues are falling, there's going to be a high deficit. Here it is now. Experts are saying the same thing. Analysts disagree over impact of GDP rebasing on debt ratio. We have some other stories here on the front cover of this morning's Vanguard. Still that picture story where we have Tinubu receives political stakeholders from Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara. There is President Tinubu in the center with some of these governors. We also have the APC chairman in that picture. Conference hall, experts to brainstorm on government performance at midterm. That's on page 5. We'll give you more details of that shortly after we take a break. But kudos to the Vanguard. They captured it. Conference hall, experts to brainstorm on government performance at midterm. It's a very good one and a new one in Nigeria. Defense Minister backtracks and supports Senate Security Summit on page 8. Nigeria, others affected as UK clamps down on care workers visa. We have too many of you from Nigeria. There's now a clampdown. State of the nation, one-party state will be strongly resisted, so says Senator Bokno Akerele. That story is on page 14. Right, let's leave the Vanguard right away and let's look at the front cover of this morning's This Nigeria. This Nigeria today is leading with halt soaring, still economic stories. Halt soaring bank SMS charges, CBN urged. The writer says customers lament exploitative tendencies, switch to email alerts to cut cost. You'll find all that on page 2 of this morning's This Nigeria newspaper. We have here FCT takes case to RMAFC to access Natural Resources Development Fund. Whoa? Are there natural resources out there to take the fund? Well, they've taken their case, so if they have a good case, they'll probably be able to access that money. It's on page 7 for us to find out all the details. We have a beautiful picture there. It says Abuja International Conference Center, final touch-up for presidential commissioning on May the 29th. Wow. Beautiful, even from the photos here. Rivers emergency rule necessary to avoid breakdown economic sabotage. Federal government tells Supreme Court. That's on page 12. We have 2 other stories here. Battle for PDP survival. Governors, ex-governors, others in tension-soaked meeting. It's on page 11. Then Air Peace evacuates 78 trafficked women rescued by NAPTIP in Côte d'Ivoire. That is also on page 17 of the newspaper. And with that, we're going to run over and take a look at News Direct. News Direct this morning is leading with stories about political stories. APC will soon split Ganduje. Others may return to PDP. Wow! Who is saying the Sule Lamido, page 21. Wow, he is saying that APC will soon split. Ganduje, others may return to PDP. Find out all these details on page 21. We have another story right here. It says here, Fidelity Bank economic stories. Fidelity Bank grows PBT by 167.8% to 105.8 billion naira already in 2025. Wow, wow, wow. My spirit has left Rivers Government House, Fubara declares. Page 21. That's talking about the Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara saying that his spirit has left the government house. He's no more interested even in returning. Now, won't that create a lacuna? Will the sole administrator now take the place of an elected government? Well, let's see how that plays out, because it's a 6 months initial determined time frame. So after that, we'll just keep watching and we'll keep you posted. My goodness. Anyway, our final story from News Direct this morning is all about Patience Jonathan again. Patience Jonathan rules out Aso Rock return, backs Remi Tinubu. She's backing Remi Tinubu for 2027. You'll find that on page 21. All right, from News Direct, let us directly go into sports. For some sports lovers, you've been missing our sports reports for some time on the press, especially on Monday. But here we have a nice story for you. Remember when the Remo Stars were all but, confirmed as the winners? We celebrated them here. And now we have it as a front page cover where they're receiving their trophy. Punch Sports Extra has their picture there holding up their trophy with banners and all that, and they captioned it Remo Reign, Remo Reign. Right, NPFL champions celebrate 2024-25 title triumph in Ikenne. Oh my goodness, it would have been nice to be in Ogun State over the weekend. Sunshine Stars relegated after 17 years. Too bad. It's a pity. No, you win. Somebody must win. Somebody must go down. So you have it here, 2024-2025 season champions. That's at the backdrop of the Remo Stars, and they're all with their hands up, jubilating and celebrating. And what can we say here but big congratulations to the winners. Now, the difficult part, as we all have noticed if you're a football buff, is maintaining the title, maintaining the trophy. So your work actually starts immediately after the celebration. But in the meantime, we wish Remo Stars the very best and say congratulations to the players, to the staff, to the coach, the management of Remo Stars, 2025 winners of the NPFL League. On that note, I think I'll just take a very quick breather. When we come back, we'll dive straight into the discussion segment, and I'll be joined virtually by a guest you would really like to listen to. So just keep it right there. Hi, thank you for staying there with the press this beautiful Monday morning. I'm Nikki Atta. We're continuing straight away into the discussion segment of the papers this morning and the things that are trending across the nation and even across the world. Now, usually we scroll through the newspapers that we brought you earlier on, but I'll just quickly refresh your memory that on the front page of the Vanguard this morning, we told you that stakeholders are meeting to brainstorm about a summit this morning, which will also talk about our midterm performance. Now, that is a totally novel one again. Very interesting because it's coming from the National Assembly. Now, if you were to ask an average Nigerian, what is the National Assembly to you? They will just say, oh, it's about the eyes have it. Oh, the eyes have it. Do anybody from the maize? Everybody is coming from the eye. The eyes have it, and everything just flows through that way. No, there's more to that because we are practicing the American presidential system of government. Right. And for the first time ever, we have the House of Representatives of the National Assembly going to give us a midterm score report. Interesting and also amazing. Well, the National Policy Dialogue is what it's being called. It's to take place just this morning. It's taking place this morning, and it's about the House of Representatives only, not the House of Senate, sorry. It draws its strength and backing from the UK Foreign and from the Commonwealth and Development Office, and they're getting support from the National Assembly Library Trust Fund. Okay, all these are coming towards giving government as well as stakeholders, civil society, the private sector, and the International Development Committee an idea of their midterm performance. Usually we just have the government just governing. As government comes, he throw the thing down in our faces. But now the Speaker of the House of Representatives, talking about the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, is going to lead the members of the House of Representatives. The venue is the Transcorp Hilton this beautiful Monday morning. In fact, it's about past 9 now. I think it's going to kick off from 11 o'clock this morning. That's why I said, always say with Kaftan Television, you hear the news first before you see it in the newspapers or online later on in the day. Okay, well, this inaugural national policy, it's called Policy Dialogue, and it's on the 10th House legislative agenda. You will see a photograph there of the House of Representatives there. They are the ones who are actually initiating and carrying out the agenda. Okay, the event is going to be, at the event, the Speaker, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, will present the midterm report card. Very important. He's going to present the midterm report card of the 10th House and lead a conversation with critical stakeholders on key national policy and legislative priorities. Wow, this has never happened in Nigeria. This is a first. And this is really, really how it should be. As a matter of fact, in America, you will not only give your scorecard, but we also have midterm elections. So halfway through, the the National Assembly in America will have another election. So that in 2 years, if you've performed, you continue. If you haven't, we'll vote and kick you out. But here we just 4 years of blanket, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Now the Speaker said no. We ought to be dialoguing with the people. We have to let them know, give them our scorecard. Have we performed? If so, how well have we done? That will also be a check on them as well as check on the people. This is a beautiful one coming from the National Assembly, specifically the House of Representatives. I want to run you through some of the topics that they're going to be talking about this morning. They're going to be examining strengthening good governance. Strengthening good governance, really, that is very important to a lot of Nigerians. We have here improving national security. Absolutely, improving national security. Hooray! That is on everyone's lips. National security is behind. The killers are way ahead. So there is a need to improve national security. We're glad that's on the front burner. We have here law reforms. We have economic growth and development. We also have social sector reform and development. There's also inclusion and open parliament. Open parliament. That's what Nigerians want to know and want to hear about. All right, so much for that. Like I told you, on today's front covers of the papers, you notice women had thrown in their voices to the political clamor. We have our former First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, saying that she is backing the Tinubus for 2027. We also have a whole lot of economic stories. So this morning is going to be an all-women affair. We are being joined right this moment virtually by the CEO of Vicky Holden Group. We're talking about Dr. Victory Njoku. Dr. Victory, good morning. You are very welcome.
Yes, hi, good morning.
Morning, you're welcome. Thank you for sparing out the time this morning to join us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. We want you to give us, your insight, because you are actually sitting atop a conglomerate, Vicky Holden Group. Now, we want to tell us, how easy is it? Tell us about the ease of doing business, as government people always put it. Well, how easy is it for a company like yours to get business done in Nigeria? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? There seems to be a loss of audio.
I lost you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just trying to find out from you, how easy is it doing business in Nigeria for your company as a model? Can you hear me? You can't hear me at all? Oh dear. We seem to have some issues with the audio, because we can see you, but obviously you can't hear us. So let's see, our technical people are very busy behind the scenes trying to find out what the issue could be. Could it be the mic unmuted? Or what could be the issue? We've seen you, but we can't hear you. Well, we were still trying to find out about business issues, which seem to be trending in the papers this morning, and we're also trying to find out from our guests the delectable Dr. Victory Njoku, how easy it is for her in her business model, which is called Vicky Holden Group, to be able to do business in Nigeria. We'll also talk about the debt profile that was reeled out for us in most of today's newspapers, and wonder if some of this debt is even being forwarded to some businesses to add capital to their growth. In the course of the program, you'll see the numbers come up on the screen. We'd like to hear from you as well. Your comment on both these topics today. One, ease of doing business, as well as Patience Jonathan input into the political arena, because we are always expecting to hear from the APC chairman, PDP chairman, Peter Obi, Atiku. Now we're hearing from the women. The women are coming on strong politically. We have our former First Lady speaking in. Okay, well, busy trying very hard to rejoin our guests and to get the audio level sorted out. But in the meantime, though, we'll have the numbers right there on the screen. Let's see. Oh, she's back. Hi.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I'm so sorry. Yes, I can very well.
Right,
Can you hear me
beautiful. It's a bit of technical hitches, but thank you for your patience. Right, can you just tell us about the ease of doing business, especially with reference to your business model, Vicky Holden Group? Audio. Okay, you know what, we'll just take a short break, and we'll see how we can sort things out properly in such a way that everything's very tidy. The audio as well as those visuals come to you clean. We're live streaming, so sometimes these things happen, but please stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for investing your time with us this beautiful Monday morning. I assure you, your time will not be wasted. We're in for a very good ride now. Everything sorted out technically and otherwise, we're all ready to roll. It's still Nikki Attar here, and it's still the press. It's time for the discussion segment. And I'll start by telling you, yesterday was Mother's Day. Some of the men will be saying, every time Mother's Day, every time the women. Well, as a matter of fact, the one that was in March is more or less like the European, the British one. Then yesterday's own is the American one. In the course of a year, some people say there are 5 celebrations for women, but that's just the way it is. You men, you have to enjoy us. Okay, as you notice today, all about the women now joining into the political fray. We saw Dame Patience Jonathan making her input into the 2027 debate. And now this morning is going to be an all-women affair. Like I told you, our guest this morning is the delectable Dr. Victory Njoku, and she's right back with us virtually, reaching us from Lagos. Hi, Dr. Victory. Oh, the visuals are very clear
so
now.
Sorry for I know, so sorry for the bad network.
Never mind. These network people are busy charging us, hitting us with high charges. Talking about the network, let me even read to you before you came on. We had this topic from the Vanguard newspaper saying 2.37 trillion naira data expenses. That those compete with food and others as Nigerians ration usage. So, does that affect your business? Do you have to invest a whole lot of money into data in order to keep, the business going? Are you also affected by that dynamic?
Of course, yes, it's very important because we live in a mobile age now where everything is online, and then you have to reach out to clients who are not within the country or where you are. Even if you have a store, you still need to connect with more people outside. So you need data, you need an online presence, which is very important. Also, the business that wants to come up, or anyone that wants to come up with their business, should start organically, because you can't invest money when you don't even understand the dynamics of the growth in that environment.
Right. Okay, starting organically, can you break that down for like a layman like me who wants to maybe start a side hustle?
okay, for a layman, I feel like you should start. Okay, you should study the market first, and don't put in so much money, because you have to grow in stages. You have to grow in steps. So if you want to do a business, you do your research about the business, understand the dynamics around it when it comes to your environment. Then you can proceed to investing little money and seeing how the turnout would be, as opposed to investing so much.
Okay, so what I've learned in Business Studies 101 this beautiful morning, you learn a lot on the press on Kaftan Television, is that I should do a lot of research into the thing that I'm interested in and not just go with my passion. Oh, I like wigs. I'm just going to do wigs because people are making money in wigs, right? And I should also look at the turnover on little capital investment first, not throw all my money in and say, okay, now it's do or die on this business. Okay, so we learn every day. I've learned that because I think I need a side hustle. Okay, it's on that note. Let's continue, because like we've come to realize, even in the news this morning, is that Nigerians are investing a whole lot of money on data. Well, some for entertainment, a lot for businesses, and like she was saying, for online presence for you. Even if you have a physical shop, if you have a physical entity, you still need more clients to grow the business. Now, is the money invested in data coming back as investment on returns? Let's find out from our guests. Doctor, do you have a sense of return on investments for the online presence, for all the data usage? Do you find that it's growing your business or it's chopping into your capital?
Okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I was saying.
I don't know what's going on.
All right. Now, I know network is really misbehaving.
I know, it's a
charging us.
hassle.
Now, I was trying to find out.
I know.
Right? When you invest so much on, cyberspace presence, social media presence, and all that for your business, do you get a sense of return on investments, ROI, or do you get a sense of your capital being chipped away by putting in so much? Is it worthwhile to go, the internet way? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Network, please. You charge us so much. Every time it's tariff hike, and now we need you. You're leaving us behind. Anyway, we're trying to find out generally if the data usage brings about ROI on businesses, especially internet presence. Let's see if we can get her back. Dr. Victory. Right, there she is. Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Right.
I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Right. Is your investment in data bringing you ROI? Is your investment on your media presence bringing ROI, return on investments? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. Oh, we still have some issues with audio. Can you hear me now? You can't hear anything? My goodness. We'd really like to pick your brains this morning as we were having our business studies this morning. But I don't know what's happening technically with the audio. But let's see how we can fix our audio and get that back up and running. But in the meantime, let's look at some other stories which are also economic in nature. If you remember when we had a look at the front cover of this morning's Vanguard newspapers, we had, despite concerns, federal government ramps up domestic borrowing to 10.85 trillion naira. So you're wondering, if the federal government as it says federal governments, because there's another story that shows states and federal doing all this borrowing. If they're doing all this borrowing, is it impacting? Are they borrowing to lend to business owners? Are they borrowing to revamp parts of the economy? For instance, is there better electricity supply? Are there better road networks? What is the money being borrowed for? Let's look at the riders right here. It says they shift their borrowing preferences to TBs in spite of high interest rates. Now, how does it make sense for you to shift your borrowing from low interest long-term funds to short-term funds that give very high interest rates? Meaning that as you're borrowing, you're putting the next generation of people into tight corners because they will have to pay increasing interest rates. So how is that really adding up onto the economy? We have a deficit is going to escalate because of oil revenue underperforming. Yes, all revenue receipts are falling in Nigeria, which means our capital inflow is shrinking because we've continued with a mono economy. That's why I really wanted to talk to a private business holder to tell us what it's like for them in the private sector, beyond government and beyond oil. But we're trying our best to see how we can link back with her. We also have other concerns. It says here, analysts disagree over impact of GDP rebasing on debt ratio. Let's have the numbers up on the screen. Let's have you calling in early while we wait to get our discussant back. Your opinion is also needed. In fact, if she were here, you'd be able to engage directly. But in the meantime, at least I can listen to you and see what I know in business. But anyway, this business of rebasing the economy, every time they hit us with this big grammar, we're going to rebase the economy. We're going to have the largest economy in West Africa. Are you kidding me? The largest economy or the largest number of poor people. In fact, it has come to a point now in Nigeria, we've been given the tag or the toga of multi-dimensional poverty. So we have millions, not 1 million, millions living beneath the poverty line, and you busy giving us this rebasing the economy, and you rebase and come up with gigantic figures about the GDP. But one has to wonder how many people are actually privately engaged or publicly engaged. So for you to take a tiny segment of the population and use that to calculate GDP when swathes of millions of others are unemployed or underemployed, swathes of millions of others are actually artisans or people struggling for their own daily bread. Let me give you an instance. As we were driving to work this morning, I saw a lot of tables, maybe, laid back beyond the road. And there we had, cooked food. Some had, little fry-ups. And that's what they are using for the total economic, that's a total economic strength. So that woman that you're calling Akara seller at the junction, that's all she's doing to keep her family fed, to put clothes on her children's back, to send them to school. Her husband usually is an in and out of job man, maybe a bricklayer, and he only can lay the bricks when people are putting up new buildings. So if this economy is not being injected with fresh money, the new buildings may or may not be coming up for him to be working. Now these people are not captured under that GDP net. And then you come up with this wonderful figure, say you rebase the economy, the GDP, and please, it's hard to understand. Let's see if we can get our guest back up. Hi, she's back. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, go straight to what you want to tell us. Now the audience,
I'm just trying. It's quite frustrating trying to make up these conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Tell us how easy or how hard it is for you as a business model doing business in Nigeria.
Come again, please.
Just tell us how easy or how hard it is for you to do business in Nigeria. Give your business as an example. Tell us about your doing business in Nigeria. Your experience. Okay, tell us anything in business. I'm so frustrated. Oh my goodness. Something is just going dodgy about this audio. It's so unfair, but you know, those are the numbers on the screen, so just hit your phone. It's actually that time when you should be calling in, because it's 9:59, hitting the top of the hour when we actually should be receiving your calls. So you do well to call in and let us know your take on those two topics. Like I told you, it's an all-women affair today. So on the ease of doing business, especially as relates to all this domestic borrowing, as well as the amount used in data to bring out media presence for businesses. Secondly, the female presence now on the political scene, talking about 2027, and what Dame Goodluck Jonathan is saying about her support for President Tinubu. Bearing in mind, remember that she and her husband are active members of the People's Democratic Party, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president. By so being, he was the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress. Now, how is that playing out politically? Let us know your own opinion. All right. Phone lines are open. We're expecting your calls. Right. Oh, we have, oh, beautiful. Right. Tell us anything about your experience doing business in Nigeria.
This is a way of staying afloat in Nigeria. You're trying to be at ease. You're trying to put things through. You keep trying and trying. Like we've been trying on this next issue.
I know. Okay, tell us your experience. For instance, does the government inject some capital for all this borrowing that do you get any easy access to capital? Are the interest rates favorable? Is this something you can borrow over a timeline and pay back? Do you have any of that support? Do you have any support, capital support from the government? Do you have any capital support from the government? What's your access to capital? You can't hear me at all? Tell us a little bit about your business. Tell us a little bit about your business. Oh, this is so frustrating. She can't hear. She can't hear me. She can't hear me. Oh, that is so painful. I'm pained. I wish I could sue all the network carriers, because I mean, this was built to be, you know, when you watch television, you not only get informed, but you also get educated. So you now get to learn something. You know, now the network is robbing us of that, only giving us visuals and cutting off the audio. That is so not good. Anyway, your opinion. Let's hear what you have to say about what I have let you know so far. Let me see some of the reasons she gave. She actually says, we're talking about Dame Patience Jonathan right now. She says here, and I'm picking this from the front cover of this morning's This Day newspaper. She said categorically here, 2027, Patience Jonathan rules out husband's return to Aso Rock, endorses Tinubu. Now, who was talking about Dr. Ebele Jonathan going back to Aso Rock, that it would have to be ruled out? Was he one of those in the running at any time? So why rule out? Was he ruled in at any point? But the interesting part is where she says she's endorsing Tinubu. Now, some of the other papers said, here are some of the reasons. Then you'd have to turn to another page. But luckily for us, This Day has put it right on the front cover. So I'll read it out for you in the riders. It says here, he says, President and wife supported Jonathan in 2011. Okay, she's saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as at that time not Nigeria's president, but he supported Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and herself. And his wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, supported Dr. Goodluck Jonathan in the 2011 presidential elections, and that saw to his re-emergence as at then. It also says here that she said she's insisting on power rotation, talking about their rotation, as they say, from north to south. But is that real? Well, she's saying she's urging others to step back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Former First Lady now, standing up and taking her stand. She's saying that other people should step back. She's talking about people from the south, because talking about this rotation, she wants it to rotate onwards with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And she's saying other people do not come forward to contest, because it should be Tinubu continuing. After all, they supported her. What that means in effect is one good turn deserves another. So that is what Dame Patience Goodluck Jonathan is saying about her stand for 2027. Right, women are also lending their voices to the political discourse, and that is a very good one to go. In fact, I'd really be happy if you're a woman, if you're a lady watching this program right now, it would be thrilling for you to pick your phone. Those are the numbers. Call. Like I told you, it's an all-women's affair today. I'm here. Our guest is a lady, and we're talking all about the political situation where a lady has thrown in her voice and taken her stand and her position for 2027, saying her endorsement, effectively their endorsement, is for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is for the APC, is for continuity of the rotation for 2027. Let's know what you feel about the situation. All right, let me look at what some other items in the front pages had to say. Okay, these were talking like the Independent. Let's see, I think we have our first caller. We have our first caller. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, that's Matthew Crawford from our United States.
You're our first caller. Go ahead.
I thought it before going to the paper. You see, if the variables in this business, there are a lot of them, but let's speak only three: communication, transportation, everything. You have it at your own disposal. You don't have problem in Nigeria when you are doing business. You want to do business. So that's the thing, because business in Nigeria is very, very lucrative. If you have the experience, if you're exposed to that business. But in Nigeria, many people jump into business, they have no background, they just see others doing. They feel it's just come. Just before it talks the person is out from the system. That is that. If you want to join in the business, make sure you have the rudiments of that business A to Z. Our newspaper review.
Yes.
Like our brother Fubara, he said, it's not desperate. It's not desperate. It's not desperate to go back to the government house. That's how a man should do, because this world we see, no condition is permanent. Anything you have today is God that decided for you. It's God that programmed it for you. But people assume that with their own career as a human being, that access to everything, which is not possible. So when God has decided something for you, I say, God has given you this, my sister. No human being on earth has taken it away from you. That's my own principle and my own desire and my own system. That's anything that belongs to me. If God said this business is for you, it's your own. Nobody will take it. So my brother footballer, you have tried for that statement. So that by the grace of God, she go back to the government house and complete their 1 year in office. Good morning, Master Crawford from our Chicago President in Abuja, my sister. Good morning.
Thank you, Mazi Okorafor, and that was our first caller. Wow, he touched on a whole lot of things, and he also echoed what our guest was telling us virtually. She said, don't jump into a business because whereby you do not have the experience. She'd let us know that don't feel that, oh, other people are making money here and you just jump into it. She was saying do a whole lot of research, which is also what our caller was saying. Oh, Vicky's back. Hi, Vicky.
Praise God.
I know.
Yes,
we have to thank God.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were giving us some tips. You said we have to do research. You also said we shouldn't throw in too much capital at the beginning. Those are the two we got before Mr. Network wouldn't let you hear me or me hear you. So now let's give us some more tips now that we have you.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you come
again?
Give us
some more business tips.
Okay, business tips.
Yes, and use
study
your
environment
company,
because
Vicky Helden Group as an example.
Okay, for Vicky Helden, we started with fashion first. Yeah. It was a fashion line first, a clothing line. And 8 years down the line, because we didn't, we had to master the crafts, master the business, understand our environment, do all of that. So, and with business, you have to build trust. Once you're growing, you build trust, then you build influence, and there's something they call cult followership. So you gain followers, you gain people who identify with your craft, who identify with your brand, and they want to buy whatever it is that you sell. So from the cult followership, what happens is that once you create something and people understand and they like it and it grows on them, when you're about to transcend into another business line, once they know that this new business is associated with the old one, with what they've always known, they want to patronize the one. So what I'm saying is that once something you birthed, a new business, you have to be patient, because like birthing a new child, birthing a new baby, the baby won't just run once it's given birth to. It wouldn't jump. It would crawl, then walk.
Okay, baby will crawl, walk, different stages of development, if that's what you're saying. Well, we have another caller on the line. Let's hear from him. Hi, caller.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Thank you. It's Raimi from Abuja.
Hi, Raimi.
Thank you. Quickly this morning, I want to remind Nigerians that the Kogi Central is still out of the National Assembly.
The what?
Especially the Senate. Kogi Central.
Okay, yes.
It's still not being represented in the Senate. Now, everywhere is quiet, nobody is talking. It sounds normal. It looks normal. But when these people start reacting, people will be searching for name in dictionary to give to them.
No. I'm going to disagree with you for saying everywhere is quiet, unless you're not a regular watcher of Kaftan TV. No time we don't have on Natasha Akpoti. No time we don't talk about Natasha, especially this program. Especially this program, we do not let Natasha Akpoti off the radar at any time.
For evidence. Are you there?
I'm there.
Okay. If you said you are not quiet, how many effort, apart from talking, how many effort have you and others put in place to pressurize the court to hear this matter?
The effort I'm putting in is allowing you the free speech. Some other places you don't even have the liberty to, to air your views this way. We'll be trying to dribble and make political statements, but you're free to air your views.
I don't have the liberty to speak.
You do. On this platform, you have the floor.
That's what I'm saying. There is nowhere in Nigeria I don't have the privilege to speak.
Right.
So I speak anywhere.
Okay.
Now, what I want you, why I bring that issue up, anywhere you hear the word terrorism, find out what is the cause, how did it started. It's always in the bid for recognition. When you're supposed to recognize the right people, you don't recognize. It's either they go the right or the wrong way to seek recognition. If Nigeria thinks Ibera people are minority to be ignored, the government of Tinubu with Akpabio should prepare for the outcome. Because if the court refuses to hear the case that we want to follow legally, then there is possibility of other means.
Thank you very much. Wow. That sounded very ominous and chilling. Whoa. Well, let's just wait until the court, handles it. Let's go about things. This is a democracy, and we'll go about our regret. Every time we feel aggrieved, we should take the matters through the legal processes and expect, better outcomes and not be very pessimistic, I would say. All right, Dr. Victory. Right, we need to find out from you, as a private sector player, do you get any injection of funds from the government or from the banks?
Oof.
How easy or how hard is it for you to get funds, capital, from the banks or from the government?
Honestly, I'll tell you something. You have to. I think the banks, the financial institutions, most times want you to prove yourself, as opposed to other countries where you have a proposal and you put out your proposal and your execution plan on your action plan on how you need to execute the business. They'll give you the funds. But for Nigeria, you have to prove yourself. You have to let them know that you've done this and this has been sustainable. And knowing that once they put funds into it or once they give you money, you would expand more. So I think it's a matter of trust. The institutions don't trust the business owners here. That's what it is. So we have to look for a way to build trust one way or the other.
Okay, those are for the institutions. How about like the government? Do you have any support? Maybe like some of these banks, I see some, like some medium, something scale banks, Bank of Industry, a Bank of, those kind of banks, yeah? Do you have, easy access to like capital injection from them or some sort of LPO support?
For now, I have no idea, but there are some
Right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Good
government
morning. Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you? How was the program?
The program is going nice with you calling in. Let's have your name and where you're calling from.
I'm M.A. Galadima, MD, CEO of Quadam PWCS Nigeria Limited, a solution providing company in Nigeria.
My goodness, all that free publicity, sir, you're going to come and pay. Come and pay.
I'm calling from Bauchi.
Okay.
I just want to contribute on the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it's an interesting program, and as you can see, the network is very, 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 very poor. You hardly reach out to your clients out there in the world, because if you try to do maybe a Zoom call or a meeting or something, you will find it very, very difficult due to the poor network we are having in Nigeria. And when you talk of the ease of accessing funds, probably from the federal government, be it state government, it's difficult. It's difficult,
right?
Interest rates are it's difficult. And the interest rates are very, 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 very high. If you look at after we call it post-COVID, from the post-COVID, most of the private business have to lay down their staff and do a lot of stuff, because we have a lot of difficulties, like having access to even foreign currencies. If you are into import or export, you have to get dollar, put to your domiciliary account. From your domiciliary account, you start to fear where you can be able to buy and do some other stuff. So we have a lot of difficulties in that area, more especially from your Naira account. Mm-hmm. You cannot be able to buy anything outside the country. You have to look for funds, for dollar, put into your domiciliary account, and it will take you a lot of time. Also, you waste a lot of time. So doing business in Nigeria is very, 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 very difficult. I don't know where we will start. If you talk of certification for like hardware that you want to buy or something, you will talk of end user certification from customs to the portal. They are not working. If you go to the portal of the NSNR for end user certification and you try to access, you can't get it. You cannot be able to send messages. You cannot be able to request. Sometimes your goods will come to the port and it will stay there for like 2, 3, 4, 5 months.
Months?
You go and borrow money now to buy. Yes. If you go and borrow money now to buy, you will just waste the whole year waiting. And the debt is increasing in the bank and what have you. So it is difficult. So I was wondering what the government is doing about this case of doing business in Nigeria. So I don't know how you guys can help us put this thing across the government. Let them check all those stuff. Because from now, the exchange is another thing. From your Naira account, you can't buy anything outside. You have to get the domiciliary account, to get dollar. Maybe before you went to pay the dollar, they will be checking if there is any little spend on the dollar, the bank will reject it and what have you. So you check your processing time. You waste a lot of time to do all this.
Right, and time is money in business. Yeah. Thank you very much for throwing all those insights.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That's very, very insightful. Thank you for that lovely call. Well, Vicky, you overheard what he said, and he raised a lot of germane points. He's saying that it's since COVID, the post-COVID business era has been very, very hard, difficult, especially in the area of procuring forex. And he's saying that the banks are really clamping down, that it's got to a point. Many Nigerians now use Naira to buy forex, which is just like, throwing a bucket of water in to get just a little drop out. And he's also saying there are a lot of delays on the business sector. And the third thing he raised was the issue of high interest rates where capitals are being injected on the government from the government source. So I want to find out, do you experience any of that, especially in the area of forex? Because I know we have to import part of what we're doing, as well as,
Of course I do.
Yes.
Of course I do, because that's what like I said before, your environment influences business, the policies influence business.
Yes.
So what the policy of another country can be different from the other country. Some countries make it easy for businessmen and women to access funds, especially forex. Some countries make it difficult. So it just depends on the dynamics of how things work. But I would say one thing for sure is that we have to try and work around whatever circumstances we see or we have to try and work around it and see how we can scale through one way or the other. Because trust me, if we rely on the government, we won't get much. So we have to look for one way or the other to see how our businesses can be sustained over time. This is network. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Yeah, we have to look for a way or see how we can sustain our businesses, because with the government, I don't think they're doing so much. They're still trying to get a hang of it. And we can't wait as business owners. We have to look for some other means to transact. And
time is money.
See how we
business.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly. So that's it. That's it basically.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Well, we were just trying to find out how, can you give us a little expo how you are managing to get forex for your business? Can you give us expo?
For me, it's with the banks as well.
The banks?
And you have limited, the limited way. Some people do, like people that are in forex business, they sometimes you need to send Naira for them to purchase items for you.
Okay.
Do you get my point? That's another way. So we can pull through. Some people outside you have to look for agents outside the country to for you, so you can pay Naira pound,
Yeah.
and all of that. Just one of the ways which we try to manage and scale through.
Okay, but the good part, just what I've heard from you, I never knew before. I thought it was absolutely impossible to even pay in Naira. So I've learned something. I'm sure a viewer has also learned.
Yeah, you can
that
pay.
you can actually pay in
Let's
Naira
just
for
do your
some
research.
agents and agencies. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So at least our Naira is getting some respect. That's what that should
Exactly.
mean.
Yeah.
Well, some people are saying, oh, they want the government. We should help them let this get across to the government. Not to worry. This program is live streamed. All you have to do is click on Kaftan Television. Just a click of a button. It's live streamed all over the internet. So people are listening. Yeah. The government is aware of what we're doing. So have no fears. This program is going far wider than you think. And to prove that even to a layman, look at the scope of our telephone calls. We're getting calls from all over the country. So keep those calls coming. Can you put the numbers back on the screen, please? Put the numbers back up. Let's have the numbers back up. Let me see if, we can squeeze in a couple of calls because we've completely wound down on time. But we might be able to take one last lucky call. So if you're calling me, you want to call right about now. Our time has really wound down. But at least you can see from the scope of where we're getting our calls from. You know, we're getting calls from all across the country. And I must let you know that Dr. Victory Njoku, our guest this morning, reaching us virtually, we're getting her from Lagos, and she's also in the economic capital of Nigeria, telling us all about her business and ease or otherwise of doing business in Nigeria. She's given us a whole lot of tips. She is the CEO of Vicky Holding Group, and she's let us know that, number one, always remember, do your research. Do not say, oh, I've noticed people are making all this money from wigs. I'm going into wigs. No, do your research properly. Find out about the business environment. She's also let us know, don't inject all your capital in at the same time. Oh, a nice uncle, a wonderful uncle of yours gives you 5 million naira. Take. And of course, you don't want to chop the money. You want to start a business. You make your business plan 4.999 million. No, she's saying don't do that. Right?
No.
Yeah. So give us your parting shot. Our time has wound down. Give us one last business tip before I let you go. Reluctantly let you go.
Okay. Be patient. Trust the process. And you pull through. That's it.
That's it. Thank you very much, Dr. Victory Njoku.
Thank you, too.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm Nikki. I'm saying thank you very much for being with us, investing your time with us on the press this beautiful Monday morning on Kaftan Television. Okay, I'm wishing you a prosperous week. If you're into business, I'm wishing you a flourishing business day and week. Stay on with Kaftan Television for the rest of our programming. For now, our time is fast spent. I can only say bye-bye. God bless.